Dr. Kazmi, thank you so much. It's truly, when James, Mr. Boothby read what is the essence of true character, good leadership, and good governance. Dr. Kazmi, we are so grateful to really hear and the people who are outstanding character coming through their, again, really wonderful work. And I'm so grateful once again. The Reverend Moon brought me to the United States. This is a rare country where we can really meet from many countries and then peacefully, democratically we can live, all right? So, second part, I'd like to really welcome Mr. Thomas McDevitt, chairman of the Washington Times, and also he's the chairman of the Universal Peace Federation. Please welcome Mr. Thomas McDevitt.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. May peace be with you. I hope you enjoyed the dinner. And the person who prepared the dinner is actually from Japanese origin. And we did the iftar dinner with Dr. Kazmi a couple weeks ago, right? It was 2 Saturdays ago? No. Yeah, last Saturday. Some of you were here, Mrs. Kazmi. She studied, her name is Keiko Patton. Is she here? Is Keiko here? Okay. The woman went across the street to her neighbor who was Pakistani, and studied the food. One time. Went to a Pakistani restaurant, sampled the food. She has a kind of gourmet genius. Then she prepared the chicken, the lamb, and so many beautiful rice. Wasn't it great, Senator? It was fantastic. So we were really touched, but I especially was touched because we had a chance to learn about the sacred value of Ramadan. And coming from a Catholic tradition, thank you. Yeah. I always observed Lent and Advent and fasting and prayer. So I was so moved to have that time. And I thought it was very fitting to do that in the Washington Times. We did it in the Founders Room. And if you read the newspaper, you know the Washington Times editorial point of view is center-right. It stands for traditional American values. It tries to be inclusive. Sometimes we get it really, really right, and sometimes we're about right. It's not perfect, but I think it is very telling to have had that iftar dinner here. And it's very telling to have this evening in this room. This room is filled with so many notable Pakistani friends and other friends from other countries, Americans all. All of us come from other countries, and it's like a who's who of people. To have heard those last 4 presentations, along with Dr. Kazmi's insightful eloquence, is rare. I challenge you, find someplace anywhere in Washington these days to have an atmosphere not just of civility. And doctor, I was so moved, I had a little pain in my mouth. I thought, maybe I would call him. Get my tooth taken care of or whatever.
Come on over.
I was so moved by your story and the story of each one of you who spoke. We won't take time to talk about it all, but I learned so much tonight. Jamie, I met before. I have not looked at the film. I'm going to do that. Thank you for your courage. You showed how it really works. Your neighbor had fear, didn't know you. You made a bridge. You connected by heart. All of a sudden, the fear dissipates. Real communication can occur. That's how it works. And it takes courage and love to do that. Guts and love, in a way. I really appreciated her comments. And Mr. Imran, his work as a journalist, I think he was absolutely right that America was founded on an idea. And that idea, as pointed out, is profound. It's changed history. That's why you're here. It's not because of anything Americans have done. It's the nature of the idea of freedom. But as Jamie pointed out, the Declaration of Independence, that founding document, has incredible power. It really is the heart to the Constitution. You separate the Declaration from the Constitution, you lose the heart. And the core premise of the Declaration of Independence is our rights don't come from the government, they come from God. So the thing we're talking about with Dr. Cosme, 20,000 people coming to Madison Square Garden, as you look at the screen, the theme of it is peace starts with me or peace starts with us. Peace is not something that governments ultimately can create unless the people are at peace. And people among tribes or races or cultures don't make those bridges unless, as I think Jamie pointed out, when you walked across the street and your dog did whatever he did or she did, and you saw the don't tread on me license plate and everything goes through your mind, probably your blood pressure went up a little bit, your heart rate raced, you overcame that, you stepped beyond that with courage and with heart, and you built a bridge. Peace starts with each of us. That's the way it works. So I'm just so moved by what I heard tonight, and one final point about the iftar dinner I will never forget because I felt somewhat prophetic. I love sports. I'm a big competitor. I learned how to play cricket in the streets of Gary, Indiana. And the night of our iftar dinner the next morning, it was the big match. And you know who played. And what I said, I hope our team, meaning our team, wins.
Yes, you said
and thank God. So, indeed, that was a worldwide amazing match between your great country of Pakistan and the great country of India. Two amazing civilizations coming from the Eastern world. So, okay, so one final thing I'd like to say, and then we're going to show you a couple pictures. The American Leadership Conference, Jamie will like this. It is something that we did during the Cold War. It was launched back in the 70s and 80s to offer a critique and counter-proposal to Marxism-Leninism from a God-centered point of view. Not Christian point of view, not Jewish, not Muslim, but universal principles. It was very effective, very strong academically, intellectually, and it helped show the fallacies of the Marxist proposition based on atheism, and that human beings are more than just the mass of biology that we represent. We then moved on to the era of culture chaos in America and developed it further. So this new generation is something that is meant to be, it's a one-day seminar. What you tasted tonight was just the appetizer. And it's based on these images of Lady Liberty, which exactly as you say, is the real icon or spirit or image of America. And the purpose is to discover a new paradigm to address our critical challenges. The essence of that paradigm is to look at the world with new eyes, meaning from a God-centered point of view. From a Muslim point of view, based on the Holy Quran, from an Old Testament or New Testament point of view, from a unification point of view, Protestant Catholic point of view, all of us come from the same parent. If that's true, meaning the same creator, if that is true, if that supposition is true, that means not only are we all Americans, as the doctor said, but we are all brothers and sisters. Right, Mr. Stevens? I mean, no matter what color our skin is, this gentleman, would you please stand up? I want to introduce him. He's what a distinguished person. He worked in the White House for 7 presidents, going back to Richard Nixon. He's a man of faith, and his job was to clean the chandeliers in the White House. And he got there, I asked him when he got to work every day, he said 6 o'clock in the morning, and so many of the presidents would go to the Oval Office at that time, like Jimmy Carter would carry his Bible every day. I memorized your story already, and I just love it. And I asked him, did you have conversations with any of the presidents? Every single one of the presidents, he had deep conversations with. And so we are so grateful for you all. Dr. Zhang, my great friend, a professor of political science from China, stand up. You're holding his book. Mr. Stevens wrote this book, What I Learned in the White House, Cleaning Chandeliers. And you'll find pictures outside. You must get his book, A Real Human Story. It's profound. Thank you, Mr. Stevens and Dr. Zhang. Please have a seat. And when we have our future conferences, we would love to have you come and tell your story, sir. There isn't time tonight, but I'm sure it is a profound story. Well, we're going to do that.
And I'm so proud to be invited, my daughter and I, to come to this occasion, and by Mr. and Mrs. Mike
Kernan.
So that's who invited us here, and they did a wonderful job of inviting us, and I'm so proud and honored to be here and listen to all of the education that you gentlemen and ladies talked about. Because believe me, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C.,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in the poor section of Washington.
I understand.
So we had to really struggle to make a living, not long to get an education. But God, like you said, God blessed us. And if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be standing here today.
Amazing. Let's give them a round of applause.
All my credit and everything goes to God. And we constantly praise God and give honor to God like different denominations do. But I would like to tell my story.
We're going to do that sometime soon. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause for him. So just to finish up, I want to show you first, as Dr. Cosme helped, we were up in Brooklyn with some very special imams and friends from your community at a delicious, we had an amazing meal up there at a Pakistani restaurant. I'm still becoming crazy about Pakistani food. It's really spicy. But this program coming up on July 15th, to which you are all invited, please, even if you have something scheduled, try to change it. Come with us. Buses are being organized in Springfield. We would love to have you there. This is Mrs. Moon, Dr. Hafjan Moon, the wife of the late Reverend Sun Myung Moon. She's a co-founder of the Washington Times. She's a co-founder of UPF. The woman is doing amazing things around the planet, 180 some countries. She has launched a whole new network called the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace. I'm one of the organizers together with Tomiko. This was in the Kennedy Caucus Room in the US Senate. We had over 100 members of Congress that participated with that conference. And she spoke to the group, telling those leaders, you are most needed by God. And she gave a founder's address, and I picked out these two quotes. And the whole American Leadership Conference, everything we're doing is kind of rooted in this kind of mindset. She says, we look at this world and see unspeakable, inarticulate misery happening all over the globe. This is impossible to solve with mere human power. What should we do from here on forward? I mean, the problems are so complex and serious, you can hardly describe them. No matter, I mean, even from the news media, of which I've been a part for a quarter century, you can't really describe the root causes of the problems that are going on. She goes on, we should start a movement that attends God as the original owner of the universe and our families, countries, and world. In reality, although our hearts are eager to attend God, it's hard to practice. And she went on, Senator Hatch really gave a beautiful introduction. She then went, this was in November, in February in Seoul, had about 2,000 parliamentarians. Then in, was it in May or thinking of my calendar here, in the new year, she spoke in Seoul to 10,000 people, went to Tokyo for Mother's Day, 14,000 people, of which 4,000 were college students and high school students. And then I was over in Bangkok just about 3 weeks ago, another 14,000 people, of which about 10,000 were high school students, where this movement, the UPF movement, is working in conjunction with the Ministry of Education to bring moral, ethical, universal, value-based education to young people to help them make the right choices so they live a healthy life, a prosperous life, such as stay away from the drug issue, the alcohol, and especially sexual activity before marriage, which ruins people's lives. And so that's why the government is working there with us. And so she is coming to the Madison Square Garden to give that message on July 15th. Yolanda Adams is a very famous gospel singer, Grammy Award winner. There's going to be a choir, interfaith, interreligious choir of 2,000 voices. Can you imagine what that's going to sound like? And it's going to be a powerful thing. There's about 500 people are part of the invitation committee along with Dr. Cosme. And we just want to encourage you all to take time. If you've never been to the Madison Square Garden, it's a fabulous place. It's famous. Of course, this is what it looks like. This is a basketball game. And we're going to have some nice buses chartered, lunch on the way. I understand it's going to be Pakistani box lunches. So we want the right taste, but not too messy. So it's easy to, and some cleanup. Everything will be fun. So we want you to be involved. Dr. Cosby is our coordinator for this. I'm also working with diaspora communities. We have a whole network in the African diaspora, dozens of countries from Africa, from Kenya to Togo to Cameroon, same kind of thing going on. From Asia, Philippines, last week we did a conference just like this for a huge community of the Filipino people in New Jersey. This is going to be a collection of people that represent America and that represent people of a certain mindset that we know human beings alone can't solve all these problems. You need those transcendent qualities like the doctor mentioned that are really, I love what you said when you said the people that serve these 80% that don't have health insurance and maybe will bring some pastries that they got. How amazing is that? That's like really like, that's like American history, like when people help build houses and barns and plow each other's fields and all that. And I'm sure you did that in your home country as you do today. But what he said that was so salient is that your people who work on your staff get joy by serving these people. Living for the sake of others brings joy. That's what this is about, as kind of a core ethos or a core value perspective that really is universal. It transcends religion, but it informs religion. And in our view, it is a geopolitical imperative. If we don't make these kinds of conversations, including with North Korea or wherever in the world, the human race's future is, our children's future is less bright. On the contrary, if we make these kinds of changes by you coming tonight and participating, and let's work together. This is just one step on a journey of 1,000 miles. We can really make a difference together as Americans. Final point, Reverend Moon said in his speech in Yankee Stadium in 1976, that a true American has a universal mind. I love that. Universal mind. It's not about being Republican, Democrat, white, black, yellow, Christian, Jewish, Muslim. It's a universal mind that is resonates with the Creator and the creation. Our future is bright. Please come with us. Let's work together. And thank you so much for being here tonight. God bless you.